What is going on, guys? My name is Robert here with a new lesson for you called The Power of One Chord. So if you know one chord, you can use this and you can learn, I don't know how many chords, tons of them, 20, 30, maybe more. But it's the power of one chord. So if you're like me, I just consider myself a rock guitar player. I don't know like 15 million chords, so and I don't want to spend all day learning chords. There's nothing wrong with that. I know plenty of players who know so many chords, and it's so cool to watch them play these, and I just don't know them, but I do know how to use the chords that I know, kind of like wisely, I guess would be a good way to say it. Use what you know, and this is something that I learned from Eddie Van Halen, not what I'm getting ready to show you, but the concept of this. He liked very simple ideas, and he liked to really use them for all that they were worth, and put them in a lot of different creative ways to where they didn't sound like the same thing. So what we're going to do is let's start with a C major chord, just one chord, as the title says. Now if I ask you to play C major, most of you would probably go to this. You'd play a C major right here. I'm going to ditch the pick for a second. My amp is on the wrong channel. We're just going to go with it. So you play a C major right here. Now if I ask you to play me C major somewhere else, this is a pretty common one. You might come up here, and you can even get into your octaves if you want to. Now, what if I ask you to play me like 4 or 5 C major chords within the first 5 frets? So that's kind of a daunting task if you've never really thought about it. And what I want to do is cover how you can do that in a lot more than just these few frets. And it's something that I use in my writing. It's a very useful tool, and you know, it's just kind of like invaluable knowledge. It's something that you hear a lot of modern music, and you hear this all the time. Or just G, C, D, maybe like a C add 9 or something. And it's really boring. As a guitar teacher, I teach, I don't even know, maybe like 40 songs a week, and a lot of them are like popular music, and I can usually pick out a popular song and figure out how to play it within a few, seconds of hearing the song. I already know the progression and then the bridge, and I know all that stuff just because it's very common. But I want to show you guys how you don't have to fall into that trap. You can be just as creative using the same chord or same 3 chords and really make it interesting and kind of like attractive to your listener, especially as guitar players. We don't like to just play G, C, D all the time. So let's get going on the lesson. Okay, so as we said before, we're going to work with a C major. And the first thing I want to teach you guys is how to build a major chord. So what you do with C major, or just any major chord, it could be G major, D major, E major, A major, any of those, B major, you can build them, and they're made up of actually only 3 notes. So although when you hear this chord, you're hearing 5 notes, it's actually only 3 notes. You're hearing a C note, a D note, a C note, an E note, a G, another C, and another E. So that's what you hear when you hear a C major chord. Now how do you find that? This chord is what you would call a 1-3-5. It's made up of the 1st, 3rd, and 5th note of the major scale. So I don't tend to get too theory-based in my lessons. That's more of a, I feel like, a topic to read or have an actual lesson to discuss that stuff. Okay, so let's show you exactly how you can find that. So we're going to start up here with our C major scale. If you do not know your C major scale, this is what it looks like. You're going to go 8, 10, 12 on the low E string, which would be 8th fret, 10th, 12th. Now you're going to go to the A string and do the exact same thing, 8, 10, 12, and then end it with a 9 on the D, and if you want to continue it all the way up you can, but those are just octave notes. So when you hear a 1-3-5, like I said, it's the 1st, 3rd, and 5th note of the scale. So how do you count those? It's really simple. You have your 1st, your 2nd, your 3rd, your 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. A major scale only has 7 notes to it. So what we have to do is find our 1st, 3rd, and 5th. And this is where knowing your notes on the guitar neck really comes in handy. I hope this video doesn't go too long, but I just think this is such an important lesson. I hope you guys will kind of stick around throughout the whole thing. It's such a useful tool. So we have our 1st. This is a C note. So our 2nd would be a D note. We don't need that one. We need our 3rd, which is an E. Now remember the notes that I told you that the C major chord's made out of. C, E, G. So we have our 1st, which is a C, our 3rd, which is an E, then our 5th, there's our G. So if you want to learn the other notes of the C major scale, you know, I would just Google it, or I think I'm going to do a lesson on some scales. But so that's our 1, 3, 5. Now that makes up our chord. So we come down here, and you would have your first, your third, and your fifth, then your first again, and then your third. So that's our C major. Now, like I said before, a lot of people are going to go to C major like this. But who's to say that we can't take those notes? And this is where it really helps getting creative with knowing these notes. So we only need 3 notes to make a C major chord. So this is a C major. And if you can't see what I'm picking the A string, the D, and the G. That's all we need. So to play another C major chord, now it's not going to start on a C note, but it's the same notes. You just go like this. It's kind of like the second half of the chord. Here would be an E note, a G, and a C. There's a C. Okay, and I'm just picking the D, G, and B. Now, to play another C chord, you could go like this. Where does this one look? Technically, it's a C. We have the same notes. We have a G, just 3rd fret on the low E string. Sorry, I lost track. What am I talking about? Oh, I'm making a video. There's a C note and then an E. Okay? Now, you could come down here, and look at this one. How easy is this? And I'm literally just covering the 5th fret on the D, G, and B. So let's figure out those notes. So our first note here would be a G. There's our C, and here's our E note. There's another C chord. Now let's get a little bit more creative. Let's kind of spread these chords out a little bit. We're going to do this one. This is kind of like an Eric Johnson thing. We have 3rd fret on the A string. Now in this video there will not be tabs. I want to leave this up to you guys to figure these out. So we have 3rd fret on the A string, that's our C note. 5th fret on the D, that's our G. And with your pinky, you're actually going to skip the G and go to the B string and get that E note. I'm sure you've heard this out of Eric Johnson. And all over the place. So that's what he's doing. He's actually just doing like a 1, 3, 5. And then let's do this. So we're going to kind of ditch this C note, and we're going to stick to the G that we had, the E, and then we're going to go down here. I'm sorry, we're going to do this. And this. So this is technically a C. We have our C note, we have an E, and we have a G. So that's just 3rd fret on the G, I'm sorry, 5th fret on the G, 5th fret on the B, and then 3rd fret on the high E string. Okay, so remember at the beginning I asked you if you could play 5 C chords within the first 5 frets. And let's see how well we're doing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, we've already at 6 chords. Now I'm going to show you guys some other shapes. So you could come up here. Now I'm holding down 7th fret on the A, 5th fret on the D, and 5th fret on the G. So there's our E note, a G note, and a C. Okay? Now if you really want to get a little bit crazy, some wider stretches, you have one like this one, which would be 7th fret, so we're getting that E note on the A. Then we're down here to getting C on the 10th fret of the D, and reaching up with our pinky all the way up there to get that 12th fret on the G. Okay? And then we'll keep going up here. We're going to do this C major. And hopefully a lot of you are thinking, I never realized there were so many ways to play a C major chord. And there really is, and it all kind of dawned on me from this chord right here. And it's in an Eric Johnson song, the King of Chords. But anyways, I looked at this chord and it stumped me. I'm like, what is this? And I showed it to one of the guitar teachers at work, and it's actually the person I learned guitar from, and he looked at it for a second, and he's like, oh, it's just a C major chord. And I was like, wait, what? He said, yeah, it's just, he doesn't have the, it's not just going C, E, G. He has his G note here, his E note, then a C. I'm like, how creative. And that spawned like so many new ideas for me. The thought of your notes don't have to be in this exact order for it to be that chord. Now there might be different names for these, but I'm doing these as C major. Like I said, I'm a rock guitar player. So there's a C major. There's a C major. Okay, you can go, oh sorry, nope, I was right the first time. There's a C major, C major, C major. So They're just a bunch of ideas. It's a very cool challenge. I'm going to do another video that's going to have more tabs. It's a little bit more challenging than this one. This is just a start. Get your mind kind of going on these chords. I really encourage you to try this. It's a really cool idea. There's an exercise that a guitar teacher of mine gave me that I'm going to give you guys in a little bit of a later video. But I want you to try this stuff. Look at all those different C majors. So before, where a lot of people are only going to be able to play maybe 3 or 4 C majors, think about how many that we just did. Let's see if we can count them. Let's see if I can remember all of them that I played. Let's see, there's 1, 2, what was the next one we did? 1, 2, 3, let's see, we went to this one, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We did 12 versions of a C major chord just then. And we're not even through the neck, and that's not even all that you can. I skipped a bunch of them in between here. So it's just kind of an idea behind it that you can play all these different chords while still playing the same chord. And think about if you just played a simple G-C-D riff. That was just kind of like a... Okay, and that's kind of boring. You're going to hear that a lot. But what if we went like this? We went... I'm going to different C chords. I went to a different G. That D chord. Okay, let's spice up with a different D. Let's just kind of go all the way up here. We'll go to a G, and we'll go to a C that we went to, and then just a... You know, it's suddenly so different than just a... And it makes it more interesting, and it's challenging for us as guitar players. Hope you enjoyed this little chord lesson. I hope it wasn't too long. I tried not to make the video super long, but I probably went way past what I wanted. Cool. But anyways, that will do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson about some guitar picking chords and all that fun stuff. If you guys would like some more chord lessons, like I said, I have a couple other ones coming at you, but if you want to go in more in depth and maybe like some different chords, more... what I would consider maybe a little bit more advanced chords and stuff like that, I'll leave a comment below and I will definitely do those videos. This is kind of exciting. I never thought people would be interested in this, but a bunch of you on my Facebook page said you'd like a lesson on what I just did. So I will see you guys next time. If you would subscribe, if you're ever interested in Skype lessons, there's always links below. And if you have questions, the best place to get a hold of me is on my Facebook page. Now, I do get a lot of messages on there, so I do get to you, but sometimes it does take a little bit. But peace out, rock on, whoa, my hat's on backwards, and I will see you guys next time. All right. I should play something cool, shouldn't I? Oh, I just dropped my pick. We're going to play something cool anyways. Nope, fail.